Welcome to Trents, welcome back to the channel. I'm Jordan Trent. I've just had a call from the team. We've just had a nice little barn find in, so it'd be great to give you an overview of that and what's going to happen with that. You know, here at Trents we have cars of all makes, models and years, you know, from anything such as the old Ford Fiesta to you know, Ferraris, Lamborghinis. You know, we've had Rolls-Royce Dawn in for break-in, we've had Bentley Bentegas, and Ferrari FF, so we get them from all ends of the spectrum, but this one is a little beauty. Let's go see it. So we're back in our run and test area here where we obviously run and test the vehicles, so making sure we're putting quality parts on the shelf. But this episode is all about this cheeky little barn find, I'll call it. So we're deciding, what do we do with it? Do we put it on auction? Do we break it for parts? Let us know in the comments and we'll find out. However, let's introduce you to this. So, can you tell what it is yet? This is a 1958 Morris Minor. So this is nicknamed the Moggy. Fun fact, they produced around 1 million of these by the time this one was produced in 1958. So it's the first British car brand to do so. So it's a 1.1 litre engine. It weighs 775 kilos, so it's very, very light. The same designer of the Morris Minor was actually famous for designing the Mini. And where this was built in Oxford is actually the site of the new Mini site where they produce the BMW Minis now. So we're going to look into it. But look, I'm excited to get Greg looking at this one. He thinks he can get it started. And then we'll see what we want to do with it. So yeah, let's speak to Greg and see what he reckons. Right, so we've got Greg here. Greg is part of the furniture here at Trents. Before I make a mistake, Greg, how long have you been here?
Just short of 30 years.
Short of 30 years, so yeah, I'll just nearly as old as, well, older than me then.
Well, I remember you that big.
But I don't get my hands dirty, I let Greg do that one. So Greg, look, wanted to show you this on this one. What are your thoughts on the car so far? I'm sure, have you seen any of these come through before?
I've seen one or two back years and years ago, but not many. But this one's particularly interesting because it's a 1956 model, which makes it one of the early ones.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's in pretty good shape for 69 years old.
Well, I don't know. I've been looking at some of the rust, Greg,
but we've seen a lot worse, a lot younger. So it's
true.
quite an interesting car to have. You know, it's a bit of a blast from the past. It's not often that the new guys get to see a distributor, a carburettor, because they don't learn that in school anymore. We went on to electronic fuel injection back in 2000. Yeah, everything was more high tech and computer run. This is just basic old school mechanics, which is what I learned when I was at college.
Exactly. I mean, look at this, for me to see, you know, where we've come from, the size of this engine, how much space is in there, and, you know, the starter motor and everything.
That's it. No management system, no thought of the environment or global warming. It was just get some power. Exactly. Very little power, but it got people from A to B back in the day.
Well, exactly. And look, this came in as a non-runner, but Greg's had a little play with it before, so we'll see if we can try and get it running. Bit unsure. Maybe we think we may have flooded the engine, but we'll see.
I'd say there's a problem with the carburettor, and we've had to bypass the float bowl altogether and put fuel directly into the main jet. It's possible we might be able to get it started, but let's see. Yeah.
What do you think, before we go into that, Greg, what do you think we should do with the car? I mean, looking round the car, I mean...
Personally, like I said, it's quite rare to get one as complete as this.
Yeah.
And yes, it looks scruffy and it looks a bit old and that, but I think it's an ideal project for one of these boffins that wants to restore it or modify it.
Modify it, yeah.
It could be a rod.
Well, exactly that. I mean, look at the inside. Again, there's a few parts missing. I can see the windows here is held up by a little bit of wood. It's got a... What I like here, this reminds me of, you know, bear in mind this is from 1956 model, but released in 1958. the door, to close the door, it's got the little strap. It's like the Porsche GT3 RS, isn't it? There's straps in there, so reminds me of that, but not quite.
But back in the day, these were generally used by a lot of nurses and girls. So this was the Fiat 500 of the 60s.
Yeah.
You know, young girls, nurses, community workers, they loved these cars.
Yeah. I can see it's 37,000 miles on the clock there. Is that much for this car? Sort of, you know, we see 2-year-old cars with
ideally it could be several hundred thousand, isn't it? But
exactly.
this one clearly isn't.
Yeah.
It is scruffy, but it rolls. Mechanically, everything appears to be in reasonable condition.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think an ideal restoration project for somebody.
Okay, well, we'll see. If you've got any ideas in the, you know, send us a message, anything in the comments, then we'll see. We might do something with it and maybe put it on auction. Who knows? We'll see. So anyway,
let's see if it goes.
Let's see if it goes. Yeah, perfect. So let's talk us through what you're going to do here, Greg.
Right. So before I started the other day, the first thing was to make sure that it actually had a spark. Well, turned over. So we made sure the engine turned over first.
Yep.
Then to make sure there's a spark, old-fashioned, we got a coil and a distributor. So it was putting power to the coil, take the distributor off, cleaned and reset the points to make sure that it was actually getting a spark. Then I made sure the leads were on in the correct order, so it was in the correct firing order.
Yeah.
Looked to the carburetor. The fuel pump itself has packed up, which is quite common too. This wouldn't have been original anyway.
Yeah.
The carburetor was quite furry inside, and the pipe that joins from the carburetor float bowl to the main jet itself, the pipe had rotted and fallen apart. So what I've done is I've bypassed that pipe altogether and put our own temporary little fuel supply. Thank you, Lucas-Aid.
Thank you, Lucas-Aid.
This is what we used to do back in the day. So I'm putting fuel. So fuel is going to the carburetor now. The choke is operated by a lever here, but essentially it just moves the jet up and down.
Okay.
To make it richer or leaner. So I'm going to just give it a tiny little bit of choke.
Yeah.
And the starter solenoid is up here, and it's a press button.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Come on. Come on. Oh, she's running. Is it going to stay?
Right.
Ah. Take 100. Oh, here we go. Here we go. We like the sound of that. Oh no.
No.
I think we're getting our hopes up here, Greg.
No, I think we've flooded it now.
Yeah.
So this will be a case of wait half an hour or take the plugs out, dry them off, put them back in. But we have had it running for about 30 minutes. It's holding water in the cooling system. It actually ran very, very smoothly. So we know engine's good.
Yep.
Gearbox I couldn't test because the clutch slave cylinder is not working.
Yep.
So you'd have to assume.
Exactly that. Exactly.
But it'd be nice to fix it and get it going. But obviously, I'm not going to go there. That's beyond the scope of what we need to do at Trents.
Yeah, exactly. Well, let us know in the comments, what should we do with it? Should we just scrap it, put it in the bin? Does someone want to buy it? Should we put it on auction? Maybe break it for spares and maybe someone wants some souvenirs, who knows? Well, Greg, thanks for showing us today and trying to get this started. It's a shame we couldn't, but see you next time. Thank you for watching.